Can everybody see my slide screen?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Yep. So am I going to be muted and then I just need to unmute to talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll control your own mute because you're a panelist.
Okay.
The audience is muted.
All right. I could bring my dog in here, make him look like a Malamute.
It looks like we're still getting some participants trickling in, so we'll just give it a couple more minutes. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Thanks for your patience, everyone. It looks like people are still trickling in. We'll give it another minute or so before we start the presentation. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to campus training for insurers, self-insurers, and third-party administrators. Today's topic is penalty objections, and our presentation will walk you through the steps of how you receive a penalty notice, how you would view the penalty notice, and how to object to a penalty in the campus system. I'm Denise Holmes, and I'm a compliance services officer in the Compliance Records and Training Department at Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. My co-presenters today are my CRT teammates, Senior CSOs Keith Rear and Deb Dolsky. We also have with us on the panel to share their campus knowledge, our CRT supervisors, Ralph Hapness and Melissa Parrish, as well as campus subject matter experts, Virginia Prax, Ann Tart, Lisa Smith, and Cheryl Sherbel. We are all excited to share this course with you today. Just a reminder that all of the campus training events, including this presentation here today, are being recorded so that they can be posted later for your access to refer back to if you want a refresher of this course content at some point in the future. Deb Dolsky will be sharing those links at the end of this presentation as to where you can find recorded training links and other helpful resource materials if you want to look back in the future. And that also will include some quick how-to reference guides for various tasks that you may need to complete once you're in the new campus system. Please also note that for audio purposes, all attendees are on mute. So if you have a question that arises during this presentation, please just go ahead and type that into the chat box. Our medical policy specialist, Lisa Wichterman, will be coordinating the chat box questions for us today to ensure that all your inquiries are addressed. You want to be sure if you are putting a question in the chat box that you address it to everyone and not just the host. And next, for context, Deb Dolsky will briefly touch on the focus of today's content. Deb?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to add that we are all going through this rollout of campus together. We look forward to a new system that allows easy access for all parties to a workers' compensation claim. We will work together on this transition to campus and help one another out. Also, remember that after the go-live date of November 2nd, there is an ongoing assistance with this transition of the new system with the utilization of the help desk. Keith, you are now able to begin your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Good morning and welcome, everyone. We know you're all very busy, so this will likely be a shorter session than what you're used to. We'll leave time at the end, though, for questions. I also want to point out that slides 2 through 15 are screenshots showing the steps in the process of receiving a penalty notice, how to view the penalty, and how to object to a penalty in the campus system. Deb will be providing link details to you later in this presentation, so you can reference those screenshots in the future. However, for this presentation, we are instead opting to demonstrate live in the campus system how to complete the objection task, as well as the ability for you to walk through this process together in real time. So bear with us while we switch over to the Gmail inbox that we have and the campus system next. We'll begin the demonstration. One thing I wanted to remind everybody, though, as an overview of the objection situation, is under Minnesota Rule 5220.2870, penalty objection and hearing, it's noted, and you must keep in mind, objections must be filed and served within 30 days after the date of the notice of assessment was served on the party by the division. Objections that are not served and filed within the 30-day objection period must be dismissed by a compensation judge. And quite frankly, in the campus system, it will not be accepted if it's beyond 30 days. Or, of course, if it's appropriate, go ahead and pay the penalty. You can look at the end of the PowerPoint presentation, which gives details on how to go ahead and pay a penalty if appropriate. Okay, Denise, if you want to take a look at the email section. This is the way it looks for the individuals that are authorized to receive the notifications from the Department of Labor. As indicated, this is a document that is waiting that's available from the department for a notice regarding a filing. The next screen brings up the fact that there's a new document available and gives you details on the situation and claim number that's in our system, as well as the hyperlink that logs you into your account.
We have one quick question from the chat regarding the email. Is this a single email address?
I can help answer that if that's okay, Keith.
Sure, go ahead, Melissa.
Hi, everyone. This is Melissa. So the email address that would receive this notice is the one that your group admin is going to determine to receive the penalty notifications. So when your group admin goes to campus and they're giving access to claims and doing their group admin work, part of their work is to determine who receives like requests for information and also who receives the penalty documentation like this, so that your business gets to determine what email address that goes to. It can be an individual address. If you have like a group address, so more than one person has access to it, that's great as well. And I'll just put in one more plug that there were 2 training sessions on that group admin work. Both are now complete, but have been recorded. So the one from the 14th, I believe, is already online that you can view. And then the training that happened yesterday afternoon, the recording, I'm not sure if it's finished downloading yet or not, but it will be up on the website as soon as we can.
And we have one more question that's along that lines. It is it going to be addressed to the adjuster handling the file?
It will be, the email just will be sent to the address determined by your business to receive the communication. It won't have a specific, like if I happen to be the claim admin on it, it's not going to say, dear Melissa, unless I'm the one who the email address and the persona identified to receive that email for the penalties.
So in this situation here, as Melissa was saying, the person who was assigned to receive notice of penalty notifications was Melissa Claim Administrator or Melissa Claim Admin email and account. So that's why it came here.
Okay, did that answer the questions at this point? Moving on, I guess what we'll show next here is the actual penalty document that you will receive when you open up your link. One thing we want to let everyone know for right now, write down your penalty number because you'll need this later when we fill out a form down the road. That way it's accessible and ready to go. After reviewing the penalty document, you will go down to the related links where you will click and move into the claim itself to be able to fill out your objection, if appropriate. Okay, now we're back on the claim screen here, or at the claim screen. And you've got a number of options there as to what you want to access. Let's see, at this stage, we will be going to documents. And you can see the penalty there in your list of documents for that associated claim. Next, you go to your dashboard. And you want to click on Submit a Filing in order to bring up the objection to penalty item. Okay. Then what you do is go ahead and scroll, actually put in the penalty number, I'm sorry. This is where you need to have your penalty number available to enter so we can bring up the actual document specific to that file. Click Next. Next on the campus dashboard, you'll be filling in the objection information. If it's appropriate to object to the penalty, you have your options as you previously did in the prior objection forms. It's noted, if you note up above under the objection information is the rule I had previously stated. Please be sure to read through that so you know what your filing requirements and legal requirements are to object to a penalty, as it's all appropriate. Okay, next we will be moving down to the narrative, the basis of your objection to penalty, your legal basis and factual basis for the objection to the penalty. And of course, we're just entering example information here. Then you click on Upload your document. Now here's where you have your supporting information, which you can bring in and is required for your objection if you have documentation and anything you want to submit. One caveat here is that this is required as a PDF document. So what you want to do in the past when we've run through this, that you have one document to enter. So you may have a number of forms or paperwork that you want to put together and join it as one PDF and upload it at this point. Pick your file. You can either drag and drop or else choose the file. You also want to know what document type you're filing here, which obviously you click on objection to penalty objection, I'm sorry. Upload. And just wait a sec here.
So Keith, while we're waiting for that to upload, we have a question from the chat regarding the narrative. Is there space limit on the narrative?
That's a good question. Melissa, do you know that one?
Yep, I'll go ahead and answer that if that's all right. I do believe that the 500 character limit is the same on this narrative as with most of our other narratives. So we encourage you, because what Keith is showing right now, where you can upload document and you can upload multiple documents as needed as well, that if you need to include a much longer narrative or perhaps some more language in there, to do it as an attachment, and you can, as part of your narrative, say, see the attached documentation.
Okay, and by your answer there, Melissa, did I have that incorrect, that you can have more than one document to upload them?
Yeah, I believe you can do more than one.
Okay.
Are you practicing that right now? Yep, there you go.
Yes.
And that looks like it answers the next question in the chat about multiple documents.
Okay.
Perfect, yeah.
Because I think we had tried that earlier. That may have been a fix, because I believe earlier was just the one, but that's excellent.
Shall I click the next button, Keith?
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
Okay, then you want to fill out your objection information as to who the party is that actually is filing this, and obviously your identification information.
So I'm filling it out as the claim representative, Melissa, claim admin, who received this penalty notification in my email. And this is the account that I am in the campus system under.
And submit your form. And you will receive this confirmation along with confirmation number and a link to the document. And you can also, as you noted here, file your form or find your form in your form history.
And you'll also see that it's confirming. So in the Melissa claim admin, for us, the Google email, our fake account, as the claims adjuster that's been assigned to receive these notifications, and a confirmation email will be sent to my Google saying that the objection to penalty form was successfully submitted.
Another thing to keep in mind, I did miss when we were filling out the objection to penalty, is that any of the items that are listed with an asterisk, they must be completed in order to submit the form. Otherwise, it will not go through. And that's basically a quick overview of the objection to penalty. As you go through the PowerPoint that we have indicated at the end of the PowerPoint are information and details as to how to go ahead and make a payment. You can make a payment electronically on the penalty if you wish, and other information as to how to appropriately do that. I think there we go. And this will be available obviously once the session is done here, and you will be able to access this at any time. And our federal tax ID number, which we do get questions on quite a bit, is listed on the last line there, as you can see. And that's it for what I have. Any additional questions or?
Yep, there are questions in the chat. This is from Cheryl. What happens if the state sends an email and it bounces back because the adjuster is no longer with the company?
That's a good question. Yes, we do need you to keep the email up to date, that the group admin, that's part of what they'll be doing. And there will be I think, annual kind of sign-offs for the group admin to acknowledge their role and what they're doing in campus. And they would need to keep that email address up to date, which is part of why we really do encourage, and I think Angie went over this in her trainings, that if there's a group email address you can use instead of just one individual, that is often helpful, because then you can kind of triage the either requests or penalty notices that come in, have more than one access in case somebody is off on vacation, or of course in case someone leaves, because we do know that that happens quite frequently. People change jobs or move to different roles at their jobs.
And that's all the questions we have for now.
Okay, so we've concluded the demonstration portion of this presentation. As you all know, the campus system go live date is coming up on Monday, November 2nd. We are excited about the enhanced capabilities of the new campus system. And thank you all again for allowing us to share some more of these functionalities with you today. Deb, did you want to share some helpful links to our training resources that the audience can access for future review and reference? I think you might be on mute, Deb.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I did put the first link in there for you. So this link here gives you an overall view of Work Comp Campus. We've gone through this on previous presentation, but I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of the various sites that can add additional training and insight to the various entities we have. So if you want to scroll down a little bit on Work Comp Campus, here it is. Here is the various entities that Work Comp Campus is applicable to. We're doing the one for insurers and self-insurers. Also, on the very bottom of the presentation, it also will give you an opportunity to sign up for the various email lists that you can get various updates to. Also, please note that that email address, dli.wcmp, will only be up and running until campus is rolled out on 11/2. So keep that in mind as well. And then I'm going to give you another link, Denise.
Okay.
While we're looking at some links, can we answer a couple of questions that have popped up, if that's all right?
Yeah.
So we have a question from Kristen. Will the objection confirmation email go to the mailbox identified or to the individual who files the objection?
So when the individual logs into campus and files the objection and puts in their email address, it would go to that email, the person who's actually filing the objection.
And the other question we have is someone just wants to confirm that the email can only go to one email address and they cannot select it to go to multiple email addresses.
Correct. So campus right now limits us when this is being sent out, it goes to the one email address identified. From there, we did practice. I know I've tested this and others have as well. If I receive the email, I can certainly forward it on. In fact, I can forward it on to a couple of different people or more than one person, where they would be able to access. The response would only come in one time. Like if, of course, if you're using in the earlier training, a request for information using a PIN to submit a response, or if you're filing that objection, using the PIN one time, but multiple people could receive it, but it would need to be forwarded from the original one email address that receives the notification. And I do want to point out the address that Deb was just talking about. If you have feedback on this, or if you have questions or concerns about the way some of this is panning out, or how to make this best work for you, to use that work comp modernization email address that we showed. Oh, perfect. Thank you. The dli.wcmp at state.mn.us. That is an email address that will eventually be retired. I thought it was going to go through the end of November, but Deb, maybe you heard otherwise. But for sure, for this week and next week, please continue to give feedback there. It's helpful as we look ahead for making this work the best that it can.
Okay, Denise, I've put the other link up there. Did we address the questions that were there?
It looks like we've been asked if there will be a link to today's PowerPoint and if a link to the external technical manual, if we can show that as well. And I think that's coming up, Deb.
Yep, that is. Okay. So now we are onto the Work Comp Campus for insurers and self-insurers. This will give an overall view of what information is available for the insurers and self-insurers, the benefits applicable for campus impacts. Also, there is an area for joining campus hours. All the prior presentations for that have been loaded, starting with the April session. In addition, going down to the most recent presentation of the 14th, it looks like not all the PowerPoint or recordings are in for the one of yesterday, but this is where you would find the prior recordings and helpful quick reference guides that were presented during those presentations. And then as far as any future campus hours, it looks like there may be 2 more sessions. So there's a link of where you can go ahead and join those upcoming sessions and put them on your calendar as well. In addition, here's another area in which you can subscribe to an adjuster update email. As adjuster, I would always make sure that I had that information updated so I would get the current dealings and updates from the Department on Workers' Compensation.
Just a little tidbit, it may be helpful if you haven't already done so to make sure that you cut and paste these links and email addresses that have been provided here in the chat box. You can refer back to them in the future. You may even want to save some of these things as a favorite in your system for quick reference in future. Thanks, Deb.
Mm-hmm. I also have put another one in there for you, Denise, if you could pull it up, please.
Okay.
Okay, this is the various link for the various work comp training that has occurred so far. And then in addition, they are broken down of what particular entities it would be advantageous to go to. I think Melissa had mentioned that the last group management that we were discussing earlier was yesterday, October 21st. That has not been totally loaded into the system as of yet, but will be available for review. So here is the one for today. We have another one coming up, which would be the final one for October 27th. So you can click on that link and register for that as well. And for the additional resources that we have for you from the October training sessions, you will note that they are all noted here with the presentation in addition to the video that has been downloaded for everyone to utilize at this particular point. There are a couple of quick reference guides also listed in this particular link that Denise is pointing to as well. And then going down further, it was the August one. So you can go back all the way to the August when they originally had started. So you can go ahead and review and take a look at those for a refresher course. Now, if you go down to, you're coming closer, Denise. One of the things that I wanted to show everybody of where they can get various manuals and guides is the form to maintenance type code, the MTC guide. If you can click on that one, please, and we can expand that. This is the document that is out there that gives you what the current form that is being utilized in the system today. On the far right, and then the far left is what it will be in campus. And the middle column is a brief description of each one of those particular entities and what is needed to utilize the new form. So this is a 4-page document. For my reference, I've printed this out, so it's not that bad to print that out, so it's an easy access for you to take a review of what the comparison is. It's a crosswalk, so it's a mapping over from our current way of doing things to what campus will be like into the future after or on November 1st or 2nd, excuse me.
And Deb, if I could, I wanted to point out one thing with this helpful document that we did. If you were on an earlier training, a very astute attendee had mentioned a typo that we had or a copy and paste error on the partial suspension that has been updated. So if you had happened to print this out previously, the partial suspension there showed the NOPLD, and it has been updated to correctly show the NOID.
Thank you.
That was under the PX area, the partial suspension. Yep. Thank you, Melissa.
Sure.
Okay, and then if you want to go out, you haven't finished scrolling down there.
Can we answer a couple other questions while you're doing that? I know there was one that Ralph had responded an answer about the claim representative responding to the penalty. I'm trying to scroll up and see the question now. If the email goes to the group manager and they can email it to the specific claim rep, the claim rep can respond to the penalty, correct? Or only the group manager can respond? So Ralph did correctly answer, of course, that the claim rep can respond to the penalty, but I wanted to point out that it would also depend on access. So if the claim rep was given access to that claim and had the proper from the group admin or the group admin had access to the claim, then yes. But if not, you would need to give that claim admin access to the claim so they could respond in the way that they needed to.
And then the other question we have in the chat is, how long will the training videos be available?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I saw that. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm quick trying to message someone on the side and find out, but I do know it has been talked about that they're not going anywhere anytime soon because we are hoping that they're helpful and will continue to be helpful even after go live. It's so good to, sometimes you have to be in a system to really kind of absorb some of the other training, or at least I'm that way. So there's no plans for it to go away anytime soon, but I don't have an exact date. If I get a response yet during this session, I will certainly update everyone.
Okay, now there's another manual that's entitled the External Technical Manual. This is a manual for you guys to review. I believe it's like 129 pages, but that will give you helpful hints of how to do various entries and documentations and handling in the campus system. So take a look at that at your leisure too. So here's another tool that you could utilize in the transition to campus. And then there's other various quick reference guides that are listed in there as well.
Okay, we have another question from the chat. The question is, will you be gathering the questions in the chat and putting them together in FAQ with these questions/answers? And the answer to that is yes, I am taking down these questions and we'll be putting out a document of frequently asked questions.
Okay. Denise, I've put another link in there for you to put up, please.
Okay.
Whoops, I gave you the wrong one, sorry.
No worries.
There you go.
Appears my system's freezing a little.
Must be all that snow and ice we're getting.
Right?
And this is just another link to our Work Comp Compact newsletter. This is a document that is sent out quarterly that gives all the various updates that is transpiring at the department. There's that big COVID special edition that came out. So as an adjuster, I would always make sure that that's another item that I would be registered up to obtain. So I wanted to show you, here's where you can go ahead for the link to register for that as well. Also, as far as Denise, on the left-hand side you can also go to various other links on our website to gather additional information. But I just wanted to give you the quick links for information that will help you in the campus transition.
Great. Any other links, Deb, that you think would be helpful to share?
I just put down our campus help desk number, option 3, in addition to the email address for our help desk in the chat box. So
Great. Thank you.
That's all the links that I have for everyone today.
So there was a question in the chat, where is the list of all the forms and how to complete them located? And Melissa put a link in the chat for the MTC guide.
Oh, great. Thank you. That's that 4-page document that Deb had pointed out to you that shows the current name of the document, say notice of intention to discontinue benefits, and then what the associated maintenance type code, what form you would fill out now in the new system with campus. Any other questions that you're seeing, Lisa?
There are no other questions at this time.
Okay, Keith, Deb, or panelists, does anyone else have any closing remarks that they'd like to add?
If I could add something quick, sorry, this is Melissa again. I just put in one more link for the Release 3.1 Minnesota Implementation Guide direct link. So for those of you who were on the answer hour yesterday, or especially if you're involved in EDI, you very well know the implementation guide. If it's new to you for EDI, it's a longer document. It's about 100 pages. It's not the shortest of documents, but there's also really good information in there on the different MTC codes, the maintenance type code, that we accept. So like that MTC crosswalk document that we linked just a little bit up ahead and that Denise and Deb went through, there's more information of that in there, as well as edits and things like that. So it's a helpful resource. It's on our website. And for those of you who might find it useful, I just thought it would be helpful to link. And then also I was going to put the direct link to the external technical manual. I think you went over
Perfect.
that and linked to the page. Did you direct link to the document as well? I'm sorry if I missed that.
No, that'd be really helpful if you did that as well, Melissa. Thank you.
No problem. It's in the Q&A, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat now as well. There you go.
And this is the 129 page.
Oh yeah, sorry, it might take a while. So feel free to you don't need to really look through at it if you want, but I just thought, just in case people weren't on the other trainings or answer hours where we've talked about it, it might be a helpful link for people to look at.
Great. Anybody have anything else they think would be helpful to know for the audience?
Hi, Denise. This is Virginia.
Yes, Virginia.
I'm not sure if you'd want to stop that, but since we've got time with everybody working in sometimes 2 different places, working remotely and whatever, maybe it'd be good to just walk them through coming in from our main DLI webpage, how to get into the campus work comp piece and the campus training sites to find all these things. So if you didn't save links, or again, you've got them written down in one place and you're in another place, it might be good just to show them how to get in through just a browser search. And I would just do DLI.
My screens are frozen. I apologize.
Okay. Yep. I was just gonna. Didn't know if you could get out of there. That technical manual, it's a great resource, and I've got it saved in my favorites as well. And like, I think you guys encouraged everybody to do that. Would be great. I just thought if we had a few minutes here at the end.
Yeah, let's give it a moment, and I bet that will work.
So while we're waiting, we have one more question from the chat. This is from Carolyn. Her question: how large of a document can be uploaded?
Hi, Carolyn. Sorry, I think we missed your question earlier. You might have asked that before. So I know this was asked previously on a different training, and I'm going to try and remember exactly how Angie worded this, because I don't recall the exact number, and I can find that out and we can include it in the Q&A that we can publish later. But I remember her explaining that it was a very, very big amount of space, and that it would take hundreds of pages of documents, maybe even 1,000 pages or thousands of pages to reach that limit, that it was a very large limit. So I apologize, that is not a very technical answer. I don't know the number off the top of my head, But when it has been asked before, it didn't seem to be an issue for uploading to the site. But I will follow up on that and see if we can include it in the Q&A.
You might want to check some of the email systems only allow up to 25 megs, I believe, too. And that's a lot of pages.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. And I know I've heard the number before, and it was a very large number that I didn't even, it was probably like a new, yeah, it was a big number, but I will find out and get back to you. Sorry again for not having the official number to give you.
So, if I could just interject, what Virginia was pointing out is if for some reason you lose where you put down your links and you want to get in there quickly to
Can you
access.
just, Denise, can you just put in like DLIMN for in your search browser there? I mean, to me, that's the easiest way to pull up a link. You don't have to remember all the other business.
Yeah.
And that top link there, dli.mn.gov, that's us. So when you come in here, kind of in the middle of the page, way on the right there, you can see that link for workers' compensation. And right here, it can get to, there's a lot of information here. But again, way on the right there, that Work Comp Campus is a great link to get you right in. And here it kind of explains what's going on. But back up towards the top, it's form filing information, the message, but they're under training. That's, if you could scroll back up a little bit, under training right there and click on that link. That's the link that was posted in the chat earlier to register for future sessions, to get links to those videos, quick guides and presentations for items that have already happened. And that will be posted once they're available for the presentations that, like went on yesterday for answer hours, and then the ones to come up in the next week or so as well. So I just think, if people don't have the other links available, that's kind of an easy way to get in. It's just DLI and MN and come in through workers' compensation and then the training. So
Great. So there are several ways you can get in. Should be easy to find the campus training links that you need, whatever works best for you. This is another way that's helpful. Thank you, Virginia.
So there's a question in the chat. Will there be an actual link to the campus login?
Hi, yes. Once we go live, we will be able to and be able to give access to that. We will be able to share how you can do that and give an actual link.
And this is the sign in. If I could just touch base really quickly, this is the main campus external sign-in page that you'll see when you come in the morning and access it if you save it. See, I've saved it as a tab up here, so it'll get me in quickly. So you'd put your account or your email, and in our scenario that we just did, the penalty notice was sent to Melissa Claim Admin. That's the claim rep at this account. So I would type in that Gmail account that we got the notification in, and you'll set up a password that you'll use, and you just click the login button here. It'll ask you to agree to some terms in a pop-up panel. You'll click that, and then what will happen is it's loading the campus homepage that you'll start out your day with, and you'll be able here to see, your queues. You'll be able to see how many open and active claims you have assigned, any events, documents, notifications, calendar, check your calendar. So, and that's where we had gone into and objected to the penalty. That's also the drop-down button that you'd use to respond to a request for information. And if you're ever not sure what you're assigned by the group admin for permissions, you'll go in under on the right-hand side. I'm Claim Rep Melissa, Claim Admin. That's the account that I'm currently signed under in the campus homepage. And so I could click on the My Groups in the drop-down menu, and I could see what permissions I've been given. Oh, by the group admin, I have been named, Melissa, Claim Admin. I have been named the designated contact for penalty notifications. Oh, I have been named the designated contact for information requests or RFIs from Department of Labor and Industry. And you'll see that's the email that we logged in under, and that's the Gmail email that we saw the notifications that they showed up in. So hopefully that kind of helps you. And then a couple other little hints, maybe I should just mention. Melissa, isn't it correct that Google Chrome they've deemed as the fastest browser to use the campus system in?
Yes, that is what is recommended for the optimal campus experience.
Great, thank you. And as you're going around the screens, if you ever, get somewhere and you decide, oh, that's not the screen I want to go to, or that's not the tab, you can always click on, this is your campus homepage hot button. You just click that in your upper left bar, and it will always bring you back out to your main campus homepage. So that's a little tidbit. If you have any questions when you're in the campus system and you can't find your link for the phone numbers, like, oh, I want to call the campus help desk right now for help, just go down to the bottom of the campus homepage and you will see the phone number down here, option 3.
So I have a question in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Nanette. She says, but if you're not the claim admin who gets the notification as an adjuster, can you just log in and still see the notifications?
If you were viewing the claim and you were to look at the Documents tab, you'd be able to see there the penalty document, or if there was a request for information or something that was in there, you would be able to see that there, yep, with you, on the claim, and note that it was there and see the date that it was created, etc. We did receive feedback, I think a while ago in the project, that externals didn't want like dual notifications to get emails and also have notifications to clear in campus. So I believe that's where that decision was made. But again, that if that's feedback that you'd like to give or have some thoughts on, that work comp modernization program email would be a great place to start a conversation.
And again, if you have submitted your penalty objection, you've done that 3-step process, it's been submitted, you've uploaded those documents. If you just want to look at what you submitted, look at it again. Oh, did I forget to add this attachment? You would just go into your campus homepage. Either you'd hit the link where the box popped up saying you've successfully submitted the penalty objection. You could click that My Forms link, or just go to the campus homepage and go to the My Forms tab. And you can see right here, this is the objection to penalty that we filed. And because we're in a full claim, it's not showing submitted. You want to make sure that it says submitted. This should say submitted if we'd actually submitted it. So a couple of ways you can get in there and see, that's how you can see your response, your objection. When you're in the claim, the My Claims queue, you can certainly, we're letting it load here, it takes a minute.
So we have a follow-up question from Nanette. The question is, and can the claim handler can then respond to the objection, correct?
Correct.
And then we have another question from Teresa. When will the admins get email notification that they can go into campus?
Sorry about that. So, Campus Go Live will start, of course, on 11/2, or yes, sorry. Now I'm thinking of my calendar here. On that Monday, and so I'm trying to think if there's an actual notification that is also being sent out. That's a really good question. I haven't been part of that conversation yet, but I will follow up on that. I know we have been sending out weekly communications to the different stakeholder groups, and so that would be a great thing to kind of reiterate and put into those. So I will talk to our communication and training team about that.
The next question is, to confirm no paperwork will be mailed to insurers, everything will be emailed to one email address to the insurer, and then we manage it from there.
Yep, correct. So we, from the compliance side, we're not going to be sending requests through the mail. We're not going to be sending the penalty notices through the mail. They would get the email alert that the documents are in campus, as we've shown here, and to one email address, yes, but you can have a different email address set up to receive the request for information versus the penalty notification. So in that regard, you can have more than one for those different things, but for each category there that the group admin can assign, it would be the one email address that would get the notification.
Our next question is from Diane. How will the claims be assigned to the user to appear in open claims? It appears that the list in My Claims is specific to who logged in. My question pertains to the specific My Claims and how those are identified for the specific user.
Those are great questions. That is group admin information that I believe they went over in the training, and I apologize, I didn't do that specific training, but I will try and explain a couple things. If you, let's see, Denise, you're still controlling, right? Can you go to the top right where it says Melissa Claim Admin?
Yes.
And go to My Groups. And then from here, you're going to see that Melissa Claim Admin is part of the MSP Insurer group. And we talked a little bit ago about some of the different permissions. But if you go over, because I know this this person has group admin permissions, if you go to the little kebab menu on the right there, the three dots, and we're going to go to Manage Case Claim Access. And then if you could, oh, that's for individual claims. So I think I'm steering you wrong. I'm sorry. If you could go back up to the kebab and I think go to Manage Groups, I apologize. It's a little bit harder to do it when I'm trying to explain it.
No worries.
Oh, go to the kebab now. There you go. And then go to Manage Group. Let me try that one. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to play around with it and try and remember. Okay, so general. Okay, so you can see there under the permissions, you can see Melissa Claim Admin General. I have different permissions listed there. If I edit that, you can see, and you don't need to edit it right now, but you can see the bottom dot there, the global claim access. That is one way in which you can give global claim access to someone in your group so that you don't have to necessarily assign a claim here or there. You can give them global claim access, but also earlier when it showed like the different claims for managing the claim case access, you can also bulk edit that and select all, and then maybe deselect a couple if you want, or however it's easier for you to go ahead and give access to those specific claims to members of the group as well.
Our next question is from Lee. Are we going to look at 11/2 at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time when campus goes live, earlier or later?
That's a great question. I was just here the date. So now I'm thinking I will find out if there's a specific time. Of course, our business hours are more, oh, sorry, I'm looking and talking at the same time. Business hours being 8 a.m., but I know it would be up before then because we've talked about getting in there even earlier. So I will, sorry, Lee, I will have to find out and get back to you. I'll include that in some, or we can include that in some of the question and answers that come out. And that would actually be a really good thing to include when we're sending out the communications. And we had the earlier question about like, hey, are you going to alert us? Like send an email, or what are you going to do? Those are some very basic things that, yes, I apologize. I wish I had a answer for right now, but including the time will, I think those two would go great together that we can answer together.
Thank you for that information, Melissa.
Yeah.
Okay, so it appears that we're not getting any further questions in the chat box. This concludes our training. Thank you all for taking the time to attend this presentation today. Please note that the panel will stay on the WebEx for a few minutes more, just to see if anybody out there comes up with a question that they've thought of that they want to share with us. If you yourself have no further questions, feel free to drop off this event call right now.
So I see we do have a question from Carolyn. Are you going to do them in segments so all don't try to get in at the same time and tie it up?
with access to the system, I'm assuming.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I have not heard that there would be segments in that, because our anticipation is that people will be accessing it, of course, on day one, when people are all getting in for the first time and kind of looking around, and maybe we would get a little bit more traffic. But the people who would be looking at Campus, we anticipate are going to be using Campus and looking at it, not just on day one, but moving forward. So the system was built to handle that kind of traffic. So I don't believe there's any talk of staggering people and access at the beginning. It will just be a go live time, but that can be part of what we clarify as well. I'm adding it to my list of questions here as far as the timing and communication about that.
Okay, and we'll give just a couple more minutes to see if any other lingering questions come in to the chat box.
We have a question from Denise. When will group admins get their log on information?
They'd be also getting it on 11/2 at the same time. Or shoot, now that I say that, I'm trying to remember what Angie had said yesterday, if there was any earlier information, but I will ask specific to the group admins about that.
And their next question is, UR filings, when are they due?
Oh, the UR filings, so you update report filings, the EDI submission that needs to be sent in to kind of get the file to be in Campus, the claim to be in Campus and associated with you. There's not a hard, fast due date for them per se, because file them as soon as you need to, especially on the claims, after go live, as soon as you need to for the claims that are active and you need to file on, because those the filing or the URs, if you're doing the FORI and the SHORI, need to be filed first before the next filing can come in. So if you know you're going to be making a payment or discontinuing or doing anything that you need to do an EDI filing on, you're going to need the URs in first. So go ahead and get those done and you're ready to go. We did put out some information. Let me see if I can find it while I'm talking here, about if it's a claim that isn't active at the moment, or you anticipate won't be active for another month or two, you can certainly wait on those to file the URs, just to kind of lessen the burden on yourself to have to get all the URs in at once. So in that regard, there's not a due date for the URs. You just need to keep in mind that it will affect your ability to file the subsequent filings, and we want those would of course need to be timely as appropriate by law. So let me see if I can find the language on that real quick.
Another question we have is from Deborah. If our IT department is able to do a data dump of URs, is that okay?
So, I mean, depending I don't know if you're a direct connect, if you use a vendor or whatnot, but we have been testing those URs with the vendors and with the direct connects. So I'm guessing that your EDI team or your IT department has been in conversation already with our EDI team and or with your vendor if you have one, because those have been tested. And yes, if that's what's been tested, that you're triggering a bunch of those off all at once. We went through a few different periods and a few different weeks of testing to ensure that would work. So if you have any other questions about that or still have some uncertainty, I'm going to put in an email address here for our EDI team. Sorry, talking and typing. There we go. That you can directly ask our EDI team about. Just to, again, check with your vendor. If you're using a vendor, they're going to be your best source. But if you still have questions, we definitely welcome you to reach out to us and just say, hey, here's our plan. Is this still what you guys are expecting or anticipating? So we're on the same page. That'd be great.
Any other questions out there?
Not at this time.
Okay. Appears the participant numbers are dropping. So it appears there are no further questions coming into the chat box. So we'll wrap this event up and let everyone get on with your day. Thanks everyone for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.